So welcome back to the Countrymarro Homesteading family, guys. Today I'm going to do some gardening control or some control methods in your gardening just to keep some plants from getting out of hand. I have some squashes and pumpkins, seminal pumpkins, some what we call Jamaican pumpkins also, which I'm going to be controlling for this season to have more space in my raised bed and in ground also. So three things happens to you as you get older. First one, you start to lose your memory. And I can't remember the other two. So let's just go along and control these plants in the garden. So here in this garden, I'm still having problems with Callaloo, Amaranth. So on this side of the yard, these are still giving me problems. So I'm going to get rid of a few or a few hundred. Just going to get rid of them. I don't know anyone that wants amaranth sucker, or else I would happily give these to them. I'm not selling them. But this is where I did a video 2.5 weeks ago and was showing you guys that I was starting a thyme patch right here 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks ago. And now it has been overrun by amaranth. I also left them in there for a bit of time just to shade the new plants that I had growing. But now this is too much shade for them, so I'm just going to remove them, cut back a bit on these squash plants and allow some sunlight in this raised bed. Okay, so if you're worried about your pumpkin or your squashes, your watermelon, anything of the sort dying when you cut it, it won't die, okay? If you don't want any vinyl rot, let me take you guys in closer. I'm not going to edit this part, I'm just going to pull the camera in a bit closer and put it down. Good. So as we go in here, we have some baby plants, not baby plants, some baby fruit here coming on. I'm not sure what it is, hence I'm not going to say. I don't know if it's pumpkin or if it's squash, but I'm going to cut it. Okay, so now we're in closer. We have some baby fruit or food coming on to the plant here, whether it be pumpkin or squashes. I'm not going to cut it below this node or joint right here. I won't be cutting it below it, or else I'm going to expose this entire piece right here to rot, because water will get in and this will start rot. Then we'll start losing this leaf and it will continue down and the entire plant. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find a node or a joint and I'm going to cut right above it. So this is the piece that is going to go to waste. This piece right here. So we're going to get rid of that piece. And now we're right here. As you can see, right here is covered. So you won't have any rot. Yes, it will get brown, but that will stay throughout the life of the plant and nothing will go wrong with this plant. Now we have a whole lot of whatever it is on it, whether it be pumpkin or squashes, as I said. So this is quite good for me. I don't need anything running longer than this in my garden. Down here again, we have a different one. This one definitely looks like a pumpkin. I'm going to go in and clip it off right above that joint again. And all of this, we can do away with it. Another trick, I'm not sure if a lot of you guys know, but if you had this and you wanted to transplant it, you could have transplanted this. Let me just show you guys quickly. I'm just going to share this one with you guys. So you have the pumpkin, your squash, your watermelon. Watermelon is kind of tricky because it's very delicate, but for the pumpkin and the squashes, you could just clip it like this again. And as long as you have root system right here, you could replant this into the soil, whether it be a raised bed or just the ground like that. Another one here, see you have some roots here. You could replant this also. And this is how you're gonna control your garden, because it makes no sense I have at the end of the season 50 or 70 pumpkins which we won't be eating, and it's not like we go to the farmer's market or anything like that to sell. So what's the sense? Also have a few growing on the fence line over here, coming up on the wire fence. Let me see. I'm just going to get it about here again, above this joint. And that's it. No further. And this, what I'm doing, it is not for the plant to bear bigger pumpkins or squash or anything like that. It's just to control the plants. That's all I'm doing, controlling. Because if I wanted more, I would have allowed them to run, and as long as the plant is getting the right nutrient, it can supply that nutrient to the fruit or food that it is producing in the correct manner, in the right amount, for you to get whatever amount it have on it productively. So as we get down again, you can now see the times being exposed to partially proper sunlight now. Let me get rid of some more of these. So for right here, this is as far as I want my thyme to go and no further. So I'm going to leave it at that. For this amaranth now, I'm going to clip it off right here, because this is a cow tongue amaranth and this one is very soft. So I have different variety of amaranth here in the garden. I just don't have any, what they call it, purple. Here some people call it the red amaranth. I don't have any purple amaranth in the garden right now. And I'm really not a fan of the purple amaranth because of the color. I hate to see that gravy on my rice, so I'm good with the green amaranth. So again, when you cut your amaranth like this, it will start pushing out new stems and leaves all over again, for you to continue cutting throughout the grow season for it. Other than that, if you leave it to go and seed, you will be overrun with amaranth, like what you see is happening to me right now. So this is basically it for this garden right here. And we're good with light for the time. don't get rid of these amaranth within another week, they're going to be massive. So, and YouTube land, remember these 2 raised bed, I did them approximately 3 to 4 weeks ago, most of the planting in these raised bed, and I documented it and share it with you guys, and this is what we're getting. So in a month period, look at these amaranth, and these are not tough, these are soft. We're getting these. If I had known that I still had so much amaranth, my wife has a friend that was asking for some amaranth, and I told her that we didn't have enough because I upweeded them yesterday and gave them to the chicken, but that was not so right. I was a bit incorrect. I remembered I shared with you guys also about papaya. This is a papaya sucker, a young papaya plant. These 2 plants that I have in my hands here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take you guys through the process. I've already explained it verbally, but now I'm going to demonstrate how you go about getting your papaya to bear at a very short state, instead of that papaya that grows out of hand. The papaya trees that you see me guys, that you guys see me harvesting from in my yard, these are about 3 years old, and they have gone through the worst, or they have seen better days. So now I'm going to be looking forward to a new set of papayas in the backyard. So I'm just going to show you guys how I go about planting them and the process of pinching to keep them to maybe a 4 to a 5 feet height, and they won't be growing too tall. So if you're not a fan of the forever papaya tree growing up towards the sky, I'm going to show you how to just keep them at a manageable level. So guys, this trellis here is where I normally grow my watermelon. However, we had planted a passion on it and it has overtaken it, so it shades here a bit now for the younger watermelons to come up. So I'm just gonna clip away some of the passion, trying not to hit the main vine, just to let in sunlight for the watermelons. So it's really a homesteading or a gardening control that we're trying to do now, just to let other plants come in and grow throughout their growth season. The passion will always be here, and I think maybe I get rid of this passion on this side and just put passions on the fence line so that it can be shared between me and the neighbors, because here it's just gonna hinder my watermelons from coming the way I want them to come. These are some very old amaranth. I'm gonna give these to the chicken. And this pod that you see here, these are the pods where the seeds are in. So if you just rub it in your hand like that, you'll see some tiny black thing. Those are the amaranth seeds. And you have to be careful not to hit any main vine, or else you'll lose your passion. we have another amaranth here, but we won't be needing any amaranth here, so let's uproot that one. So wherever we want the amaranth to regrow or to get more from it, we just cut it off about 12 inches above ground, and it will spread more limbs. Then you'll get more from it to eat. But whenever you don't want it, you just uproot it. But this should be enough sunlight for watermelon for this time of year, because we just need for it to start running, and afterwards it will be good as long as the root is getting enough nutrient and the leaves are getting enough light. Your watermelon should be okay. Right here is a decent bundle of amaranth, which I think we'll be cooking this weekend, so I'm going to take it inside for it to be cleaned up. I hate cleaning amaranth, guys, so my wife is the one who does all the cleaning. If I'm going to eat amaranth, what I will do, I'll get the very young ones, wash them, cut them up, and just cook them. But whenever they get to this stage, my wife is in charge of this. Okay, so here I have a piece of metal, or as my American friends would say, metal. I'm just going to punch a hole in the ground, just like what I did with the tomato plant yesterday. Ensure that the hole stays open. Then now I'm going to go in with my plant. Not deep enough, so punch again. Still not deep enough, because the sun keeps falling back in, so that is why I'm right. So we're good here. We just pack it. You guys are seeing. Take it down closer. At this point, I'm just going to pinch off these leaves. Be gentle with it. And I'm just going to get off all these leaves. And we have this, and whenever you get more leaves coming out, you're just going to continue pinching them off and leaving just the stop set on it till it gets about 3 feet high. You allow it to grow maybe 4 or 5 leaves, and then you keep it at that again and continue pinching. It will force it to start bearing. Look at this tomato plant. It's all bushed. A lot of people or a lot of farmers or homesteaders would tell you that you should prune a plant like this. What I am going to say to you guys is, if you're in the tropics or the subtropic, do not prune your tomato plant. Get as much harvest as you can from it. If you're in a cooler climate, cooler location, you can or you may go ahead and prune your tomato plant. But what works for those gardeners and homesteaders in those upper states does not work for us here in Florida and certain parts of Georgia, South Carolina, Texas. It does not work for us. We're just we're just picking up someone else's good practice and putting it into our environment, which it is a bad practice for our environment, because we won't have this throughout the year, or most of us won't have this throughout the year in Florida whenever the warm time comes in. I will keep a few of my tomatoes, especially the ones on that side of the yard, but on this side everything is going to get stressed. So just don't prune your tomatoes in Florida or in your hot climate. So guys, that's it from Countrymarro today as far as gardening is concerned. where I went through and show you guys how I go about controlling a few plants in my garden and allowing other plants to get some more sunlight to go through this time of the year. Stay tuned. I'm coming up with some rabbit videos where I'm going to do some rabbit cage unboxing. Also, I'm going to be building some rabbit nesting boxes, and also maybe this week, I had told you guys last week that I would be doing breeding. However, the cages arrived yesterday, Wednesday. So maybe I'm going to be a bit off because I have to assemble those cages and then install them where I want them to be installed. So I'm still coming with everything, but it's just a bit delayed now. Things just happen beyond my control, so I'll just come out with them same way for you guys. I promise you guys that. So, Countrymarro, you guys all have a blessed day. Please remember to like the video if you like what you're seeing. Subscribe to what I'm doing. You won't all agree with 100% of what I say and what I do. However, we can meet at some point. So please subscribe to the channel and let's grow together, learn together. I'm learning as I go along also. I was born and brought up on a farm, but I do not know everything. So I'm still learning as I go along. So thank you all for watching. Have a blessed day.